Hi, my name is Juan Carlos Martinez, and I will be presenting how cleaning agents work. First, with the history of detergents, and it all started in the 1700s when soap made by animal fat and lye was introduced. And then in the 1950s, synthetic detergents made their first appearance, which offered a wider variety for fabric care. And finally, in the 1970s, was when this became an actual industry because they started using attacking enzymes in the production of these. And now for the impact of soap and detergents in our lives, we use detergents and soap every day for because it's essential for our personal hygiene, and we use them for almost everything like dishes, our bodies, and now even more with COVID. The ecological impact, well, the difference between biodegradable and non-biodegradable is that biodegradable breaks down naturally without the need of any chemicals, which has a less environmental impact. And while the non-biodegradable cleaners have to go through a whole chemical process, which takes much longer, and it's way more damaging to the environment. Now for the flow charts, in the first experiment, we used detergents, more specifically seventh generation, which is our biodegradable, all and Tide. We also use water, alcohol, and oil as our bases. And we put 200 milliliters of the same bases in three recipients, and then we used three volumetric flasks for 20 milliliters of each detergent and add them into each of the recipients. In both flowcharts, in both experiments, we need to make sure we do them in a controlled environment so outside variables don't affect the results. Now for flowchart number 2, we used the same detergents, talcum powder, hard water, and distilled water. And we put 200 milliliters of the same solvent in three recipients. Then we sprinkled the recipients with a little bit of powder, then used three syringes and add a drop of each detergent into each of the recipients. If there is no result, change the amount of substance is necessary in order to notice any change. Now for the results in experiment number 1 was very effective since alcohol and water-based mixture with biodegradable detergents and oil with non-biodegradable made a homogeneous mixture. But oil with a biodegradable detergent didn't mix properly. And experiment number 2 wasn't as effective since only one of the three bases worked because we didn't consider that this base was way stronger than the others. In the result analysis, in experiment number 1, the biodegradable detergent mixes well in water because for them not to contaminate the ocean, it has to contain alcohol and solubility, which proves that our hypothesis was correct. And the non-biodegradable detergents contain fat and oil, being non-polar, makes it not soluble in water. In experiment number 2, only the alcohol-based mixture produced a base strong enough to hold the talcum, because we didn't consider that this base was much stronger than the other two. Then the measurements were rearranged and reduced the solvent and added more solutes and equal amounts of powder, and the expected results came out. Experimental errors in experiment number 1, and the non-biodegradable detergent mixed with water, and we think that this might have occurred because the overuse of water. And in experiment number 2, only one of the bases worked, and this was because we didn't consider that the alcohol's base was much more stronger than the other. For improvements, since our mistake was in the mixture of water and non-biodegradable detergent, and in the next time we could use more detergent so we can see some results. Also for the general look, we could have used transparent recipients. In experiment number 2, we changed the measurements and we put much less solvent because that was weakening the solutes that weren't strong enough to begin with. And for conclusions, all experiments are bound to go wrong in some way, and we think that this isn't wrong in general because we could learn from those mistakes. And we should also definitely watch out for the measurements since we probably weren't as consistent as we thought. And also for the next experiment, we think we should add more of the solute, being the detergents, to experiment to see what would have happened if we did.